And we are live. That wasn't long because I nearly forgot to press go live. I'm like, oh dear, why is it no working? Oh, Friday. All I can say is thank fuck it's Friday. How is everyone? We'll wait for a few people to come in and I'll share out. I think it's just got to be you and me tonight, Linny baby.
Okay.
We will rock and roll this one as usual.
We will. We must probably go on to all sorts of subjects, won't we?
Well, yes, this is it. This is it in a nutshell. It would help if I actually shared it out. Oh, we have got one like but no viewers. Oh, it's Josh. Hey, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
I hope you're well, my love. Hope you're well. Hope work is well for you too, honey.
We
I fear miss you
for a while, have we?
No, we haven't seen Josh for a while. Much love to you, honey.
Hope your family's fine as well.
Yeah. The kids and the wife. Listen to us. We're like in harmony. So tonight, guys, we are talking about cults and new religious movements. So our opinions are our own. We are not slagging any sort of cult, or any sort of movement. I'm just sharing this out. Sorry, guys.
See, it's an interesting subject because really it would be interesting to see what makes the minds tick to actually go to these movements.
Well, this is it, and it's not just that as well. I mean, if you really think about it, and I never actually, whoever's in the chat, can you pop up and say wee hello or do an emoji? No fingers, please. Or even a wee hello. Or pick off, just so that we know that you can hear us. Because sometimes this could be a royally pain in the backside. So yeah, when I was doing counselling, we were talking about, funny enough, it came up in conversation about cults.
Right.
And I learned that, if you look at everything in life, really everything in life is a cult. And I looked at, obviously, the basic sense of cult, which is Latin. And it means to worship, describes admiration, devotion, or concentration of time.
Yeah.
So ancient Greece and Rome, they had many cults devoted to, among others, and Christianity. If you think about Christianity, it began to be used to describe particular devotions within the Catholic Church. You had the cults of Mary, you had the other individual saints and the cults of Lourdes. So everything really in life is the cults. So I thought, why not talk about cults tonight? Because it's something we've actually never done. Whether they're good cults, whether they're bad cults. I'll get another couple of minutes because it's shown me that there's no one watching. Facebook, I won't kiss my backside.
I've seen it.
It's telling me that basically that I've to stop sharing as much. As it does. Just 2 minutes, guys. So, Lynn, how you been?
What have I been doing? I've been working this morning.
You've been working?
Till late afternoon. There's no water where we are at the moment. One of the towns had no water for over a week. We haven't had any now for about 3 days. This is our third day. It's coming in bit by bit. but it's been quite difficult, especially with some of the old deers around here, you know, the vulnerable people as well.
Yeah,
What to
no,
do?
I get it.
They haven't got a clue. They're trying to use the showers and stuff like that, and there's
Oh,
no
God
way
love
to
them.
blow everything up. And it's been quite a difficult time today, really, when I've been out. But it's all about keeping it real, keeping it positive, and just making sure that they feel safe. But it's been like that. But it's not helped with the heat. And but
Uh-huh.
we want the heat, but we want some water with it. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? That's funny. I feel for you, Lynn. I feel for you. Um, but let's go for it. So when we're talking about cults can be good things. They can be bad things.
Yeah,
If you ever have heard of a cult, it's usually maybe a bad thing. Um, and I mean, this topic is a controversial one, because some of the belief systems that the cults have could be seen as being weird.
yeah,
They
yeah.
could see as being brainwashing, taking people's obviously families, um, and maybe stuff that are gruesome. Now, everybody knows about the People's Temple. Now, I'm going to start with the People's Temple because we'll talk about a few cults tonight. I've vaguely covered this one, but I'm going to cover it again. I did say that some of my podcasts I would do again, because there's so much information to each and every one of them. And when it comes to cults, there's so big cults. So the one I want to start with myself is the People's Temple. So everybody knows that Jim Jones, he was a charming leader of People's Temple who would go down in history for what he done.
Yeah,
And that was because he had a mass suicide that killed more than 900 Americans.
that's
Um,
horrendous, isn't it? Really?
it is horrendous. These were people who were vulnerable. These were people who were cut off from their families. Um, that it's amazing how you can meet someone, you get an ideology of the person, and then you more or less are brainwashed. This person's charming. This person's giving you somewhere to live. You know,
Yeah,
they're getting into your skin. You know, with the promises of come to this whole new world. You know, this is what you believe in. This is what your rules are. Um, Jim Jones was born in 1931 in rural Indiana. In the 1950s, he became a self-attained Christian minister. Now, I really don't get this self-ordained Christian minister, no offence to Robbie, because I just don't get it and I just don't understand it. Because I always thought, why, becoming a Christian minister, you would need some sort of training, like training that would last.
yeah,
Um, like you had to do so many years before you would become an actual minister.
yeah,
But it seems in the world that we live in today that people are, and again, this is no harm to Robbie because I know that Robbie does this. Um, but there seems to be more and more people who are calling themselves a Christian minister or an Exodist or just throwing titles on. That I just feel like, did you have the proper training? Did you go through all the channels that you know that you're meant to? Um, so Jim Jones, he started his own church, which he called the People's Temple, which in 1955 in Indianapolis. Jones ran his church on ideologies. It was racially integrated, provided free meals and legal aid. It offered substance rehabilitation and created homes for the elderly. While Jones was advocate for racial equality and socialised ideas, in 1965 Jones moved the group to North California and then relocated to San Francisco. Now, with his charming personality, Jones became a highly popular, not just among his members, but with politicians too, as he was able to persuade people to vote for the Democrat politician candidates. And he also donated a significant money to charities. And that just shows you what type of person that Jim Jones is. Jim Jones was the type of person that wanted to be seen as brilliant in what he done. He wanted to see himself as like an important figure.
Yeah, saviour. He was a saviour.
Yeah. He was, people to think him as he was this good man. He offered, legal aid. He offered free meals. He gave them this home. They even had homes for the elderly. And he was this man who wanted, black people, white people, eh, the equality
Yeah.
amongst the both of them. However, people began to leave the temple and they spoke out about what was really going on behind the scenes. And this is the thing that people got to remember. On the outside, it's like, I suppose it's like booking a holiday, and it has all the, all the trimmings, the all inclusive, the blah, the blah, the blah. And when you get there, it's somewhere like Vietnam. And a lot of people were obviously, oh, I'm not watching that video. Mark sent me a video, but I'm not watching it now because
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I'll be something cheeky at that big bastard's mouth.
It is.
You're lucky I can't watch that, Mr. Manley, or you'd be for it. But whatever it is, F you. I'm sure I'll see it later. But that is the problem, guys, that you do have. You have people who it looks like a good deal, and then you go and join it, and then the real stuff start happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They were often forced to give up their belongings, and were frequently abused. As public opinion began to turn on them in 1974, Jones had the People's Temple moved to Jonestown in the jungles of Guyana to create an agriculture. Members were working long, hard days. They were suffering from diseases.
Oh my God.
There was armed guards patrolling Jonestown.
No.
Members had their letters and phone calls censored. They were often required to participate in mock suicide drills. Whilst Jones's paranoia and delusions began to deepen and his drug addiction worsened, you can imagine what happened.
Yeah.
The California congressman travelled to Jonestown to investigate the allegations that people were being held there against their will. He arrived with a group of reporters. Now, you can imagine that Jim Jones was then, by this time, he was really on a high. Hi, Nigel. I was beginning to think
Hi,
one
Nigel.
was coming. Hey, we are good. How are you? Happy birthday for the other day, my friend. I seen your pictures. You were looking really well. So, people were getting held against their will. However, when the group left on November the 18th, 1978, Ryan, 3 journalists, and a defector attempted to escape, and they were ambushed and shot. knowing that he would be investigated, that's what led to Jim Jones doing what he did. Oh, you're fine, Nigel. You're always welcome, my love. This led him to do one of the biggest massacres.
Yeah.
He then led 909 followers into a huge mass suicide by drinking cyanide.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
and people would obviously drink it because they thought it was Kool-Aid. As guards surrounded the area, meanwhile, Jones himself didn't drink any. What he actually did was he shot himself in the head.
Wow.
And officials would find the aftermath the next day, and it would become the largest loss of American civilian lives in a non-natural disaster until the 9/11 attacks.
Wow, that's massive.
But
Massive.
it just shows you when somebody is so brainwashed. But you bear in mind, a lot of these people were turning on their families, their
Yeah.
families were trying to warn them about, this guy, and the families weren't just.
They'd have been frightened to death, the families. That's what I think. And I also think when he started this up, he thought he was doing like a goody in the community.
Yeah.
Then he realised that people were looking up to him. Then he started getting a narcissistic personality to the point where if they didn't do as they were told, they were going to go against him and it was going to be hurtful for him. So if you love me, you'll stay with me. It's a bit like relationships, isn't it? Bad relationships go like that. They're very narcissistic and it's a control thing on one side.
Oh,
because
God.
they make the other side feel like they can't cope without them. What they're going to do? They're not good enough to do it on their own. The rubbish and all this. And that's what they do. They brainwash them. And they're very good at it.
Yeah.
Masters at it.
I suppose, right, and this is just my opinion, guys. I suppose when you look at it, really, you could say that about Christianity. Because for years, people were made to believe that the Bible had these 10 commandments. You live by these 10 commandments, and a lot of people, I suppose, in a way, were brainwashed. And you see it all the time because you see people out and they just don't leave it at one point. They've got to continue to keep going and going and going with you. Even when you're turning around, you're saying to these guys, you know what, I'm not really that way and religious, but thank you very much. And they still go on and on and on regardless.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time in Glasgow. Glasgow's notorious for it. There's there's a lot of people. See, in Glasgow, you see a lot of things. You see a lot of people shouting about Christianity. You see a lot of people nowadays shouting about, the things that are happening between Palestine and Israel. You see that as well. But you also do see, like, you'll have some Jehovah's Witnesses, you'll have all different types out in Glasgow, and they are always trying to stop you, like, all the time, without a shadow of a doubt. And you are like that to them, like, I'm not interested, but they'll still go on and on at you.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like one of those ones. But as I said, cults are there as sometimes, and I know people will probably argue with me, but cults are there as sometimes as good things. But then you have the cults that pry in people. I mean, look at the other one that we can think about, the Mason, Charles Manson.
Yes.
Charles Manson, he was the absolute top one of cults. And that's why when people say to me, right, because people know I love true crime and I love discussing it and things like that, and people will say to me, Charles Manson's a serial killer. And I go, no, he ain't. They go, ah, he is. And I go, no, he ain't. Not in my eyes, he's not a serial killer. I says, because he was telling people what to do. He was getting people to kill people. I says, it wasn't really him. So when you look at him, he grew up in an abusive household and spent most of his years in and out of prison. And it was for petty crimes, really. That's
Yeah.
what's the ironic thing about Charles Manson. What he was getting in and out of prison for was pretty much petty crimes. Eventually he moved to Los Angeles, where he began taking guitar lessons and listening to the Beatles. Now, everybody knows he became fixated on a dream to become a song singer, writer. He also started studying religion and Scientology. Now, that is one subject I would love to touch, but nobody else would touch with a 20-foot barge pole. Um, It's obviously I would love to cover Scientology, but I don't know if it would be done well. And as everybody knows, with Scientology, they are very, very guarded people, and they take it very, very seriously.
Yeah.
So I don't fancy. I'll begin to think I'll get fan mail and it'll be hate mail because I've spoke about Scientology. And he used that as a method of controlling others. Um, He moved to San Francisco in 1967 and began to project himself as this, figure, this religious figure, in order to persuade vulnerable young women to follow him.
Right.
Now, Manson, I don't know how people could, would often trade sex with these girls for favours from others. And that's how the Manson family came. And they moved to LA, and that's when they created, various crimes together. However, the most famous of the crimes was the Tatler Bianca murders. Now, as everybody knows, we had David Ullman on our
Yeah.
show, and he actually owns the land where the Tate murders happened.
Yes, he said that. Yeah.
Yep. And at the time, Sharon Tate and her filmmaking husband, Roman Polsky, was renting an estate that had previously belonged to a music producer. Um, Manson's, due to lack of talent and his violent personality, on August 8th, Manson ordered his followers to go to that home, and while one of them kept watch, the other four followers stabbed, beat, and shot to death the 8.5-month pregnant Tate, along with three of her friends,
Oh no.
um, and an unrelated teenager who happened to be on his way to the estate's guest house. Um, One of the followers then obviously proceeded to write on with Sharon Tate's blood on the wall.
Oh.
Um, Several other people were also murdered by the Manson family. There are various theories to why the murders occurred. Was it revenge because maybe Manson couldn't get his Hollywood dreams? Was it a cover up for other crimes that Manson had committed?
Done, yeah.
So that if he went down, the whole group would go down with him. But regardless, they all went down. They were sentenced to death, though their sentence were reduced to life imprisonment when California banned the death penalty. Now,
Right.
Manson and Akins have both died since in the jail, whilst the rest remain alive. Um, but many of the imputed Manson murders to the end of the 1960s were classed as free love, bringing in more subdued,
Yeah. Yeah.
careless culture in the 1970s.
Yeah.
But you look at Manson and you just think he had some it was like he was fascinated with the Beatles, the helter skelter, as he called it.
It was the LSD times, wasn't it? Then,
Oh God,
it was the
everybody
years
was.
of flower power and love, and and I mean, a lot of it started in San Francisco. There's lots of songs made of it. Are you going to San Francisco and all that lot? The whole lot, and the whole lot of America, really. It was into all that flower power and love and
That's
LSD
fun.
and
That's
marijuana.
one of the eras that I've always said, Lynn, right? See if I could go back in my life, get a time machine, and what era would I have liked to been born in? I would have said the 60s and the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Shoot, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a hippie in me. Maybe I've got a past life being a hippie. Don't know.
Well,
But
I was born in 1960, so I'm a bit of a hippie.
we'll be a hippie together, love. Don't worry.
Hippie chicks, yeah.
But with that being said, as you said, there was a lot of drugs in the 1970s. A lot of people were doing drugs in the 70s. And that was the time of free love and everything, and you just kind of think, well, if it was really like that in the 70s, then what goes through a mind like Charles Manson to create such carnage?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about, he projected himself as well, didn't he? He projected himself out and drew people in. All about narcissism, drew him in. It made him feel good. He had this power,
Yeah,
and he was in control. It was all about control. And he thought, oh, I'm onto a good thingy. Right, so if you're so high up here, off your head, you've got that control. And
yeah.
then all of a sudden they go against you. Bam.
Do you know what I find quite ironic is that this guy must have had some master, and I always believe, right, when it comes to things like this, people must have IQs. It's been founded that people have high IQs when it comes to murder. When you think of the likes of Ted Bundy, and then you think of Charles Manson, and he must have had such a power of persuasion to get these people to do things. 2 seconds, love.
Okay.
2 minutes, Lynn. My boy's having a wee episode. Carry on and talk as much shit as you want. Just don't stay that long.
Okay, so it's like Lo says, all of these up to now, what they've done is, I'm not saying they've all done this, but what they're doing is drawing people in, making them feel that they're needed, they're wanted, they're loved, they're controlled. Then they do anything for them. So what happens then? Like I said before, if they go against them, that was it. They must. I think they've got they've obviously got some psychological problems if they're going to be murdering off it with the cults. But yeah, it's a scary thing, really. When you think about things like that, I often think, well, if I've looked at different people and different religions, and I think about these people who's had the cults, it's all kind of the same thing, really, as a start off when it's all started. But once that's gone, it turns, because there's no control then, it's just no control, and it goes into something else. But when you think of what we've all grown up with religions, whatever
Yeah,
religion it is, it's because it's a normal thing to do, because you get brought up like that from your family. So
yeah,
your parents and then their parents on both sides, and then
yeah,
so you get contrasting different views on different religions. So say you've got Protestants and Catholics. If you've got Catholic, and then one of them goes into the Protestant, they all turn on them. You know, they done that in my family. They threw somebody out of my family because we all became Protestants. So it went against, but it doesn't bother us. It's just, you know, it's something that happens. And as far as I'm concerned, if people don't like me the way I am, bye. You know what I mean? You don't have to.
Definitely. And then see what I would find interesting is I would love to investigate these places where they've had cults. Because
Wouldn't
there's
that
got to
be good?
be because there would have to be some sort of residue energy there in some of these places. That's why I absolutely love when David Oman talks about his house, because as I said, he bought the one where Sharon Tate was murdered, the land that Sharon Tate was murdered on.
Yeah,
So, and he talks about the activity that he's had, um, and sometimes he's had quite a low energy, you know, enough to scare him. Um, but I would love to see personally myself, um, if there was any residue energy from these places. And if you look at it, most of these places now are knocked down, because people don't want to be associated,
no. They don't
with
live
stuff
next door
that.
to them, do they? You know, they don't.
Uh, I mean, look, I know this is off a topic, but it's a kind of same sort of meaning. But if you think of Ed Gein, when Ed Gein got arrested and he was sitting in the police cells.
You froze, Lo. You froze. Oh, she's gone. she's froze.
His farm went.
Oh dear. Thanks, Jeremy. Thank you.
There you go, love. I'm back. So as I was saying, so the next night Ed Gein's farmhouse went up and it burnt down. To
Wow.
this day, no one's ever been found responsible, and nobody in the town will ever talk about Ed Gein or what happened to the fire,
Wow.
and obviously his farmhouse. Nobody will ever talk about it, and that's just an example of
Yeah.
how things like this happens in such small places that it leaves you do wondering what the hell is going on.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
especially with small places like this. And I
And
think that's
somebody
why
set
these.
it. See, it's like you say, it's a small town.
Oh
And
God, yeah.
has somebody set it trying to get rid of it?
Oh God, yeah. It's honestly, it's like I think these cults go into the small towns because it's easier. The people don't know them. People won't be able to find them, and it's easy to run a cult out of a small town. It's not like they're going to go into big cities and do things like this. Um, and it mind boggles me really what people see in these things.
Yeah.
Um, but then again, everything's a cult if you think about it really. Hi Jacqueline, how you doing, love? Hope you're well. Hope Rocky's well. So then we've got Heaven's Gate. So we've got Heaven's Gate. Marshall Applewhite met Bonnie Lou Nettles in the early 1970s. At the time, both of them was experiencing spiritual crisis, and they decided to go on a spiritual journey together. After exploring Christianity and various New Age religions, they both had a revelation that God, Jesus, and the angels described in the Bible were actually a superior race of extraterrestrials, and that in the final day of the world, these aliens would arrive in a spaceship, destroy the Earth, and save the faithful. In 1975, Applewhite and Nettles began to offer classes on this belief system. They received more revelations, including that they were both aliens that had been called to prepare humans for the end of time.
Ah.
They took on the names Do and Tai, respectively. Their students were encouraged to practice celibacy. Several male members, including Applewhite, got got
Stuck again. Lost you again, Lo. Just as it's getting interested. It'll come back now. It will. Bit of problems with the with all this tonight. I think it's the atmosphere. Hello? Hello? Can you get this on? Oh dear. Dear me. It's just not working properly tonight, is it? Not at all. I think it's sort of doomed tonight, this cult and new religion movements. But yeah, I mean, look at the amount of are you on there? Trying on that one?
Hello, sorry, I don't know what happened.
That's just not working tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
In the 1975, the group actually stopped recruiting and became recluse, and they moved to Colorado, where they believed that an extraterrestrial spacecraft would take them to Heaven's Gate. Now, Nettles died of cancer in 1985, which went against the group's belief that their bodies would be transformed into perfect beings, their next level, alien bodies, while they were still alive.
And it's gone off again. See, they must have read this somewhere. Whoever started this, they must have read that somewhere, because you're getting that now in the Emerald tablets, aren't you? All this information's coming out about how we were created, and the Book of Enoch as well. You know, that's been banned by the church because that's got information in it that they didn't want people to see, because they wanted them to look at what they needed for their people. So they made them up with what they had, but they left the Book of Enoch out. So really that all feeds into what that guy was doing when you think about it. That, you know, we were made by an alien race, and this is just how it's gone. Are you back on?
I'll get to the story yet. Believe me, folks. Then in 1995, the comet, the Hale-Bopp comet, was discovered, and Heaven's Gate's members believed that an alien spacecraft they had been waiting for was hidden behind the comet. Now, Applewhite rented a home in San Diego to the house of the group, and when the comet passed its closest point to Earth in 1997 in March, he and 38 followers actually consumed a legal mix of drugs and vodka and actually wrapped their head in plastic bags. The suicide took place in the group so that as one member died, another could place the body on a bag. Now, I can remember seeing this. They covered the face, and only the two members who committed suicide last were found without the covering. Additional, all the members were found with a $5 bill and rolls of quarters in their pockets, and they were all wearing the same Nike sneakers. However, members did not believe that they were actually committing suicide, but that the spacecraft hidden behind Hale-Bopp would pick them up as they died to take them through Heaven's Gate and into higher existence. Now, they did have a website, and there was a documentary if people are interested in watching about Heaven's Gate, because I can remember it being covered, and I will cover Heaven's Gate at some point. And basically, what was ironic about that cult was that all the people that died in there had the same haircuts when they died, men
Wow.
and ladies.
Wow.
And they were, as it described, they were found lying on a bed with wearing night trainers. Every one of them had night trainers on. So that's an interesting one. It really, really is an
That is
interesting one.
interesting. That's interesting, actually, because I won't mention names or anything like that, but actually I found somebody quite a few times who used to take a lot of drugs, prescribed drugs, and put a bag round the head, tie it up.
Uh-huh.
So when they went to sleep through the drugs, the bag
Uh,
would stick to the face.
yeah.
And I was the one that found this person quite a few
Oh, I'm
times.
so sorry.
Yeah. And you've just twigged something in my head now. You really have, by saying that, because I didn't think anybody else would ever do that. But you've just told me about what I found years ago. Yeah.
The Heaven's Gate.
Trying to get to a better place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lena, to trigger that one.
No, it's all right.
Beside
I'm
you.
settled with it. I'm settled with it.
But it just shows you what lengths that people will go to for who they believe's this God, who they believe is this,
Yeah.
this being that's, whether it is for extraterrestrials, whether it's for the man up the stairs, as people say.
Yeah. And I was saying before when you went off, right?
Yeah,
I was saying about, maybe that guy did have a point, because what happened when they found all these scrolls, and the Catholics made a religion out of their book,
yeah.
the others made their own books, and they left the Book of Enoch out, and that tells you everything that you've been saying, you know?
Well, do you know what? I pretty much believe why they left these books out was they don't want people to see the truth about religion. They want to knock them in the head with, and again, guys, this is my own
Yeah.
opinion,
Yeah.
that they wanted to knock them in the head with the nonsense of, you have to live by these 10 commandments, you have to do this, you have to do that. Make this person who we've never seen in life form or anything, the higher realm. Um, and by taking out these books, then people would actually discover the truth, and then they would be like questioning everything. Well, why does this book say this, but this is saying this?
Yeah.
Um,
It's only just come out, hasn't it, really? Not
yeah,
only, but quite near in the timeline. It's just all come out. Even the emerald tablets as well. That's
yeah.
the same. That's telling you the same kind of thing.
Oh, it's mind blowing. It's interesting as well,
It is.
and you see it now that when we talk about your religion movements, you think of the you ones that mere that people are following, like things like Wicca. People are following Wicca. People are following Satanism. People are following a cult. People are following all these different religions. Christianity is not as big as anywhere as what it used to be.
Yeah.
We're going forward in the 21st century, and there's a lot of people who are turning back on their back on Christianity because what they've read in a Bible to what they're seeing in real life,
Yeah. It's not leveling up, is it?
it definitely isn't. But there's people who will take religion to the streams. Definitely.
It's like having an addiction, isn't it? In a way, an addiction that fits and soothes the soul for that person. That whatever their needs are, that's soothing their soul.
Oh, definitely. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. I just want to apologise, guys, for my internet. I'm having issues with it just now, so if we have been going in and out, that's exactly why we have been going in and out, guys. I've actually really enjoyed this topic tonight, and it just been us two. So,
Yeah.
if anybody else wants to join, shitheads,
Jeremy
no,
messaged, yeah.
that's sorry. I love having me and Lenny time.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
It is. It definitely is. But yeah, it's one of the ones that people. I don't mind people's beliefs. I really don't. But
I mean, what's
I
the
just
difference, when you think about the cults and that in religion, right? When you think back before Christianity came in, the amount of people worshipped bulls, they worshipped the sun, they
yeah
worshipped all these strange objects because that's all they had.
yeah
And and when you think about that, it's been going on for millennia, so it makes you wonder um, when it exactly started.
yeah. And as you say, a lot of people worship in the sun and things like that. You know, items and statues even.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely do.
In fact, you look at all the different things how they actually show the gratitude. You know, there's a couple of things that I've been seeing recently that people do. It's like they dive into like cold water, because apparently it brings them of their sins. It's some celebration, some sort of celebration anyway. And people take it to their own extremes, excuse me. Like they go and dig their own hole to do this.
Wow.
And then they lose their life because they don't go to the actual place that they're supposed to, but they cut the ice themselves, and what they do is they jump down to jump back up. And then it ends up, what happens is where they're jumping in, you've got obviously the waves, the currents,
Yeah.
and the currents just sucks them downriver. And you just
Yeah,
think to
yeah.
yourself, this the sacrifice people make for these religion movements.
Yeah, it's crackers, isn't it? I mean,
Oh
we all
God,
know, we've all done it. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people, a lot of us have done it. You live by the seaside and you're jumping off the cliffs into areas.
yeah,
And in certain parts, you've got round here, we've known people to go to some certain parts of the mountains where they've got waterfalls, and you can jump in off the top of it
uh-huh.
and just bob back up. But
Oh, you know, I used to love watching people do that, and
I worked with a girl years ago, 30 years ago, and she done that. She's a lovely, vivacious young girl. She went out with her mates one weekend up the mountains, and it was hot, and
yep,
they were cliff diving,
yep.
and she slipped and she smashed her head in and she died.
Uh, uh, uh.
But it was one of those things where it becomes like a competition, doesn't it? It's a dare, you've got to do it, and
Yeah,
that's what it was like. That's then. So it most probably is now, but it's more controlled with professional people now. If you want to go and do stuff like that, but I can, when people throw themselves off cliffs and that.
yeah. Oh God, yeah. That's me just getting Tim's message. That's all right. I know you said that you're fed up with seeing us women. Aye. But yeah, even things that they do, the festivals that they have as well.
Yeah.
Um, and it's mind boggling. I meant boggling. Ah, not trying to say anything wrong there. I'm just saying mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But it is, guys. It's you'll you'll never understand these cults. Never, never. It's the same as the tribes. See, if you think about it, really, the tribes that you've got everywhere scattered in the world that no one ever will understand.
Yeah.
And I would love to cover them as well, because that's an interesting topic. What do we really know about these tribes that are out there?
Not a lot, really. Some of them, you know, they
And
know they're there, but they've never seen a white man.
I'll tell you what I find the most interesting is that there's people who there's a couple of gentlemen and they were both Americans, and it was two separate instances. And one believed because he was Christianity, I can save these people. And he was so determined to go to this tribe. It's the North Central tribe. And he was so desperate to go out there and preach to this tribe.
Yeah.
And people warned him, look, no one goes near that tribe because you go near them, you're not coming out alive. Bear in mind, these people have not interacted with any sort of human contact. And
Yeah.
any human contact that they have has ended up that they've shot arrows at them
Yeah.
and they've killed them and they've ate them.
Yeah.
Now, even psychologists don't understand these tribes and are trying to learn about the tribe life. So this gentleman took no heed of warning and decided that he would pay a gentleman to take him to the island.
Wow.
He went to the island. The first time was okay because he had presents and he was giving them presents and they, they they were curious about him.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were wondering about him and they were giving him presents and they were laughing and joking. The next thing
She's gone. She's froze again. Yeah. The next thing.
you
Do you
know,
know what?
they turn on.
Yeah. I think I've seen that. I think I've seen a program about that. Didn't they give him like a mirror?
Yeah, I think, guys, I'll do another couple of minutes and then I'm going to wrap it up because my internet just keeps dropping in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened was, so the second time they killed him, then there was another guy who believed he could change them. And he went to the island as well. And basically, the first visit was fine again, but the second visit wasn't, and he died in exactly the same circumstances.
Wow. But thing is, it's their tribe. Why would they want to be changed?
Exactly.
And
And
when you think about it as well, though, right, when you look at these tribal people, I see them as Stone Age people.
mhm.
They're what we used to be.
Oh God, yeah.
And they're
Oh
doing
God,
what
yeah.
they have to do to survive. That's how I look at them. They should be
And do you
left
know what?
alone.
Do you know what, Lynn? These people who believe that they can go out and now there has been a ban on the island. You do not go near the island under no circumstances, or the officers get involved. No one gets to go near close to them because of the continue hesitant and them trying to kill you. There is no point in understanding these people. They're going to kill you. She's taking everything and trying to play with it. So there is absolutely, as you say, leave them alone. They don't
Yeah.
want to be understood. If they wanted to be understood, they would have allowed people to be on the island. Just
Mhm.
because they let two people on who probably they've been eyeing up and thinking to themselves, you know
Yes.
what, you would be good to eat.
Yeah.
doesn't always work. So that's why people are told, please leave the tribe alone, do not go near them, because they are really, really bad. They shoot arrows in the full shebang.
They're
But
happy living the way they're living.
you no, exactly. But guys, I am going to cut this live very, very short tonight, guys, because my internet has just been a arsehole. That is one way to describe it. But guys, we have had a good Friday, just me and Lan with yous. Guys, we hope you have a good weekend. Stay safe and stay out of trouble. And if you're out investigating this weekend, make sure you're not disturbing any tribes. But
Yeah.
everybody take care, and we will see you next week, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.